Nusantara Dharma Book Festival, I would like to welcome His Holiness the 14th Dalai Lama. Your Holiness, Tashi Delek, thank you so much for joining us. Hello and welcome everyone. I will be moderating this event. So allow me to introduce myself a little bit. My name is Dewi Lestari. You can call me Dee. I'm a writer, a singer, and a songwriter. Some of my works were inspired by the Buddhist teachings and values. So being here with you is such a deep, deep honor. So 1,000 students from various places and schools in Indonesia are joining us at this very moment, and more people are also watching from the live stream. This program is a part of the Nusantara Dharma Book Festival, or NDBF, an annual festival organized by Lamrimnesia to improve public interest in reading, especially for the younger generation in Indonesia. This is the NDBF's third year with a theme that focuses on supporting mental resilience during this pandemic. Our event today is called Grand Buddha Goes to School. This program introduces the universal value of loving kindness to Indonesian children through roadshows and the distribution of Jataka Mala books since 2016. Now, this pandemic should not hinder this effort. So therefore, Grand Buddha Goes to School is now held online at NDBF's 3.0, organized by Lamrimnesia and Kadam Choiling Indonesia. Kadam Choiling Indonesia is a community that studies and practices Mahayana Buddhism in Nusantara under the guidance of our beloved guru, Dakpo Rinpoche. So on today's Dharma Talk, we are going to cover Jataka Mala, or the stories of Buddha Gautama's various lives depicted in the Great Borobudur Temple. So we would like to receive Your Holiness insights regarding this topic. And before we do that, it is a noble tradition to offer a mandala, symbol of the universe, to the Dharma teacher in request for teachings. Therefore, I'd like to invite Morgan Oy, an Indonesian actor who has been actively inspiring youth to spread kindness, as our chanting master, and to lead a short mandala offering for His Holiness.
Thank you.
O chashe oige choshi metokang idam guru ratna mandala kam niryatayami.
Thank you. Good morning. Today, some discussion, some Indonesian youth in general, and particularly those people who have interest about Buddhism, Buddha Dharma. So now, I'm a Buddhist practitioner. One of my commitment is promotion of religious harmony. So all different religious tradition, Buddhism, Hinduism, Jainism, Christian, Muslim, all these different Judaism, all, you see, different religious tradition, it all carries same message of loving kindness. So, in order to or say, strengthening belief or faith about altruism. They use different philosophical views. Some say there is God, some say no God. But these simply method. Real aim is we should be more compassionate person, sensible person. So all major religious tradition, you see, carry ultimately same message and use different philosophy. Now Muslim also, you as a believe Allah. What is Allah? Infinite love. To Christian, Jesus Christ, also infinite love. So like Allah, Jesus Christ, you see, consider creator. Main reason, if you believe these God are creator, the whole world, whole universe, then that may help, you see, to increase faith. Then Jainism, Buddhism, no concept of creator, but rather self-creation. But these are different methods. But aim, we all should be genuine, compassionate human being. So one of my commitment is promotion of religious harmony. And also one factor, I live in India. India, all major world religious tradition exist here. So 1,000-year religious harmony there. So since you see India, most populated, one of the most populated nation, religious harmony there. So it is possible to achieve religious harmony. So my commitment is promotion of religious harmony. Therefore, now today, I'm very happy meeting some Muslim brothers, sisters from Indonesia. So one of the most populated nation. Okay. So now, whether accept religion or not, up to individual. Basically, we all human being. From birth, you see, we survived with mother's compassion or mother's love. Without that love, we cannot survive. Not only we human being, but also other animals. So loving kindness is the key factor for our survival. So today's world, lot of sorrow, conflict, in the past human history, a lot of problem. Because lacking is a sense of brotherhood, sisterhood, and the practice of compassion. So we, human nature, more compassionate, but then eventually when we getting as a normal person, we neglect about these deeper religious value rather than competition and sort of hatred. So, in the past human history, a lot of war, a lot of violence. So now, human being seems to say becoming more mature. We human being, I think, completely fed up about violence, about war. So, we religious community, we have special responsibility to promote human loving kindness, and with that concept of oneness of entire human being. And practically also we have to live together on this planet. So world peace, entire 7 billion human beings live as brothers, sisters. So we religious people, and especially a Muslim community, have some special also the opportunity make also the peaceful world on the basis of religious harmony. So I'm very happy meeting with people from Muslim country. I think Indonesia, one of the most populated Muslim country, like that. So now you have some interest about Buddha's story. Buddha's story about 34 Kirusoshi. One great Indian master. Firstly, he not sort of follower of Buddha Dharma. And he he want to discuss with Buddhist scholar at Nalanda. So then many Nalanda master fear the writer of this book, well known, great scholar. So then the Nalanda at that time, also the existing scholars, they really no complete faith, confidence. So they asked Nagarjuna in South India. Then Nagarjuna sent one of his main disciples to meet this writer. Then some discussions like that. So the author of this book, great scholar. Now the Buddha story really beautiful, but I feel story is story. And particularly the one story of their own guru, their own Lama, maybe little exaggeration. So important is his teaching. Then, firstly, India, 1,000 years, the main sort of concept is ahimsa and karuna. Ahimsa, non-violence. The main motivation about non-violence is karuna, compassion. So all Indian tradition, including Muslim, is the main message is non-violence and also altruism. So now, whether we accept religion or not, we should be compassionate, altruistic person, human being. More warm-heartedness really, you see, give peace, happiness yourself and surrounding your place. Then you see, have some kind of peaceful, compassionate atmosphere. So that whether believer or non-believer, we human being, as I mentioned earlier, from birth, we grown up with human loving kindness. Now, rest of our life should be more kind-hearted person. So that's my main message. Now some questions.
Thank you, Your Holiness, for your lovely sharing. So we're going to start the Q&A session. This is such an amazing opportunity. Some of our selected students already prepared their questions. So first, I'd like to call Liviana Andi Wijaya, 14 years old, from Ananda Bogor Junior High School.
Hello, His Holiness. My question is, in the Jakarta tales, there are many tales of bodhisattvas sacrificing their body. Why must they do that? Is it possible for us to do the same things? And why should this become possible?
Question correct. Yes. Karsa, question.
전주선배 선생님이 되는 랑 류에 당에 레스 마우 송샤스 더디 류에 당다디 그 소리 당고에 된다 그 고전 가리 나서는 안주에 된데 제도에 요르레스
그래.
류 당에 류다 소 당에 그 근데 게름 나가 된데 마우 송샤스
So really, also the matter of boy gives 전주 선배 심지는 런이 줄로서 다 루기만 송유. Now, according to the circumstances, in case if you sacrifice, you as an individual sacrifice your own life for sake to benefit many people, many animals, then it is worthwhile to sacrifice one individual's life to sake other sort of thousands of people or animal. It's worthwhile. But these, we should sort of combine our compassionate mind, our sense of serious concern about others' well-being. At the same time, human intelligence or analyze the circumstances. If the circumstances is such, your one individual's life sacrifice definitely benefit to many others, then okay, worthwhile. Not just blind faith, or not just out of also the attachment, or of course out of anger, is not good. With warm-heartedness, thinking well-being of other, and then circumstances shows your life sacrifice definitely going to be benefit to many people. That's worthwhile. Like, okay.
Question
Then,
will be
next question.
asked. Yes, the second one will be asked by Lami Jingga. He is 17 years old from SMA Negeri 1 Ubud. And his question will be in Tibetan.
Gilwa response chola. Tashi delek. Ni riwani. Neam ki dupa dir. Jinadang ngantra Rewa lakpe rakniki. Chedro. Homosor. Ngatsei. Fenrok jitarje tu bam. Kadrinche.
Oh yeah. Now today, unfortunately, one kasa kuru.
Coronavirus. Pandemic. No.
Oh,
The virus.
one what to say?
The disease.
Nayam.
The pandemic.
Pandemic.
Oh, so it really America and India and also some European country, Russia also. Now, beside that, the global warming really, you see, changing weather condition. And many places, fire. So, we really, now we human beings of this world, really now facing some critical period. Now, meantime, we have some way to reduce this problem. So, we should keep our determination and try to minimize these problems. So I really appreciate and admire many doctors, many nurses. They really helping the sick people. Wonderful. So nowadays, I feel for temporary, eventually, certainly disappear this illness. So, because something happened, you should not discourage. We have to make effort with also the hope, or it can overcome. If we remain hopelessly, then it is a real failure. More difficult, more determination, then there's always possible to overcome. My own story is in my lifetime, a lot of problem. I never give up hope. I always try. So, you see, at least mentally, you can keep hope and peace like that. Okay.
Thank you, Your Holiness. Now, our third question is coming from Indivara Chesa Wimalaputri. She is 16 years old from Ananda Bogor Senior High School.
Good morning, Your Holiness. My question is, the Borobudur Temple is the biggest temple in the world and therefore a great blessing for us since it is located in Indonesia. My question is, how can Indonesia Buddhist youth preserve and protect the Borobudur Temple? And when would His Holiness Dalai Lama come to visit the Borobudur Temple in Indonesia? Thank you.
Okay. Borobudur, I have been once. Really wonderful. So now, important, I believe, the temple important, but really important is our inner temple, in our heart and brain. Our heart, warm-heartedness, karuna, and then use our brain, our intelligence, utilize our aim, happy world, and how to achieve not only through prayer, but through method or use human intelligence. So the Borobudur, really wonderful temple. I have been once, now future, I don't know. If there is opportunity, then certainly I want to see the real Borobudur within ourselves. Warm-heartedness combined with wisdom. That is real Borobudur. Just empty temple, not much meaning. Real temple, something living temple within ourselves. That is very important. Thank you.
That is so lovely. Thank you so much, Your Holiness. And so the fourth student, he looks familiar. Hello, my son. This is Kinan Avalokita Kirana. He is 17 years old from Cikal Serpong Senior High School.
Greetings, Your Holiness. My question is, I struggle to find balance between being myself and being accepted by others. I sometimes feel anxious about myself and it got me feeling down. But then people will label it as negativity and find it difficult to be around me. How do we deal with negativity? Thank you.
Most important, yourself keep moral principle, honest, compassion, irrespective what the people say. Then time passes, you see, now especially this modern time, media always, you see, carry, you see, the information. So therefore, I'm, according to my own experience, now I suffer in our own country, then escape, come to India as a refugee. Then I carry my practice according to Tibetan Buddhist tradition, which introduced by Indian master Shantarakshita. Since we have our own language, that is 7th century, the Tibetan emperor invented Tibetan script, a copy India's Devanagari letter and alphabet. Sometimes I half joke, you see, the 7th century Tibetan king marry with Chinese princess and very close link. But as far as Chinese letter is concerned, I think he I think boring. So he, instead of learning Chinese language, Chinese letter, he decided to create our own script, copy from Devanagari, as I mentioned earlier. So we Tibetan, generally, we very courageous people. Whenever we find some difficulties, we always keep inner willpower. So myself, you see, in spite difficulties, I always keep a Tibetan determination or willpower, or not through violent, through non-violence way. So, number of, or say the people now recognize our Tibetan spirit, remain, keep, or compassionate, or firm, like that. So, when some situation, different people, different opinion, doesn't matter, so long your own sort of standing, they very much based on human practical intelligence and warm-heartedness. Combine these two things, then no matter what people say, you can keep. Eventually, more and more people realize that. Now, according to our own experience, we can that way, so more and more people supporting Tibetan cause. And number of Chinese also now really showing, or say, interest or sympathetic way. Like that. Then next.
And spirit. Thank you, Your Holiness. So next question is coming from Kevin Llewellyn. She is 19 years old. Oh, sorry. He is homeschooled and currently on year 8. Yeah, so Kevin will ask his question in Tibetan.
Gelwa Rinpoche Chola, Tasi Dele, Nedrewani, Indonesia down Pepar, Del Delwengo, Gandra, Shik Yodam, Karinche.
In the past, Lama Silingba, San Karsagore.
Dharma Kirti. Dharma Kirti. Dharma Kirti.
Dharma Kirti. One very close relation. That great Lama from Indonesia, so because of that, some special connection. So in the past, some special connection. Now, in future also, now modern time, they through information, be much easier to exchange our views and get knowledge each other much easier. Okay.
Okay. Thank you. And the next question, I'm calling for Marvela. She is 17 years old from SMA Kristen 1, BPK Penabur, Jakarta.
Good morning, Your Holiness. My question is, how can I apply compassion taught by the Jataka tales during the pandemic? And which tale would His Holiness recommend that could be a source of motivation and inspiration for all of us? Thank you, Your Holiness.
Oh, the Buddha story and the 34 chapters, which more relevant, I can't remember. I have to read leisurely. The key thing is, I believe, firstly, sense of oneness of 7 billion human beings, irrespective what religion, what country, what races, we all same human being, same human intelligence, same human heart. On that basis, we are serving as much as possible to any human being in different part of the world, east, west, north, south, no differences. We all same human being. And now practically, east depend west, west future of west depend east. Similarly, south and north. So, in reality, not like ancient time. Now, modern time, we much sort of was the dependency. So therefore, we really need sense of oneness that practical. So I myself, I'm Tibetan. I live in this country. I always consider every human being are human brothers, sisters. We have to live together. Instead of jealousy, or negative fighting. No use. In the past several centuries, we human beings use war, violence, and including nuclear weapon. But now we become more mature. We are thinking violence not the way, not the right method, but coexistence, live together. So world generally, I think more principle of democracy is really wonderful, really wonderful. So key thing is we should keep concept of oneness of 7 billion human beings. We have to live together like that. Okay.
Thank you, Your Holiness. Okay, so our next question is coming from Beltran Dario. He is 19 years old, a student from Catholic University of Parahyangan, Bandung.
Nice to see you, Your Holiness. I would like to ask you some questions. Currently in Indonesia, there are many groups of extremist religion who tend to suppress or to offend other religion. As an Indonesian Buddhism, we're just a tiny thing, or we just can say we are a minority. So could you give us some advice to us how to overcome these situations? Thank you.
Right. Religious believer and some kind of thinking one religion, one truth. So that in the past history causing some problem. But now today's world, there are so many different religious traditions. So whether we like it or not, we have to live side by side. Now Indonesia, basically Muslim country, but among the Muslim brothers, sisters, you see some people showing interest about Buddhism. Now, you see, besides just faith, the ideology, the whole system of the religion, then now today, Buddhism, Buddha Dharma, more scientific religion, particularly Nalanda tradition. And historically, Buru-Buddha also is some connection. So, I am Buddhist. I have number of friends among the non-believer, such as some scientists, actually non-believer, but very much appreciate the Buddhist concept, particularly the knowledge about emotion, how to keep peace of mind, how to reduce anger, hatred, these things. So as a sort of psychology, not religious belief, simply utilize the Nalanda traditions explanation about human emotion and how to control or how to reduce negative emotion, how to increase positive emotion. So among my friend, is some scientist not religious minded, but really appreciate the Buddhist knowledge or experience, how to keep peace of mind. So I usually call hygiene of emotion. So Buddhist psychology, very useful, very helpful to keep peace of mind. So now any religious people remain isolated, then one truth, one religion, wider sort of contract, then eventually becoming more realistic. So the Indonesian small group of Buddhists, you see, you can show your Muslim brothers, sisters about, you see, we Tibetan, and particularly we Tibetan, as a refugee in this country, remain totally committed religious harmony. So you can share some of your more narrow-minded Muslim brothers, sisters, you can share these things. Okay.
Thank you so much. And the next question is Gracia Natania, 14 years old, from SMA Kesatuan Senior High School, Bogor.
Hello, His Holiness. My question is, as technology become more advanced, children and adults are losing interest in reading books. How can we get people to read more? And how can we introduce Jataka tales and use it to teach children moral values? Thank you.
Now, because of technology, now they, personal telephone, these things, mobile. So we can easily, you see, communicate each other and to ask different questions. So, not necessary to read books, but through the mobile, you can easily get information. And particularly when a person eyesight not very good, then you see no need try to read books, but through mobile we can exchange, you can discuss like that. Okay.
Okay, thank you so much. So the next question, I like to call Rehans Lutfi Hudoyo, 19 years old from STABN Sriwijaya, College of Buddhist Studies.
Thank you, Your Holiness. My question is, why is it so hard to reach jhana or the stage of awakening new days? In the past, people could usually reach that stage only by listening to Buddha's teachings. What should we do in the present so we can reach or improve your mental awareness? Thank you.
I don't believe just as I heard Buddha's teaching, then immediately enlightened. I don't believe. Buddha himself, this is 6 years meditation, hard work. And then he also used to teach us a study. Firstly, hearing. Then hearing alone not get deeper benefit. Then thinking. The thinking also not some sort of knowledge increase, but real sort of experience not much change. Then contemplation, contemplation more deeper, we call shamatha and vipassana. Then gradually, you see your mind, you see, actually, you see the deeper level change. And then through that way, gradually, you see, firstly, your sort of inner ability to see something our usual eye cannot see, but mentally can see. And then through that way, memory about past life. So all these mental quality, you see, through meditation, you can increase our mental quality. Then with that, then use, you see, what is the ultimate source of problem, suffering, is one, self-centered attitude. One, everything appears something absolute or something independent. Now, quantum physicists also, some quantum physicists also uses, have the view. You see, things does not exist as appears. If we investigate the things, material things, nothing objectively exists. Everything depends on your own mind. So, the Buddhist sort of concept, among Buddhist tradition, Nalanda tradition, Vibhashek, Sotantik, Chitta Mantra, then Madhyamika philosophy. So like Nagarjuna and Buddha Palita and Chandakirti, Shantadewa, you see, these people have the concept of a Madhyamika philosophy. So that immense help, you see, to reduce this something wrong conception. Things exist objectively, independently. And finally, everything, you see, what's the designation, right? Designation. So that thinking very much sort of against or very much forceful to reduce thinking things absolute. And then oneself, you see, I. Actually, now Madhyamika philosophy, you see, clearly mentioned, where is I? Beside this body and mind and speech, where is I? You see, usually we feel my body, my speech, my mind, where is I? You can't find. So when negative emotion comes, there is something independent, absolute I that create attachment, anger, all this negative emotion. So that Nagarjuna's follower, they really investigate these things. So I myself, I daily thinking, where is I? Nothing. So those negative emotion are very much connected with feeling of I, something independent. So once we feel there is no independent self, automatically reduce attachment, anger, suspicion like that. So you see, once you hear the Buddha's message, very difficult to salvation. You have to study, think. I also now, over 80 years person, when I was in Tibet, mainly sort of study for final examination. After I came to India as a refugee, now more time, and then daily I'm thinking. So really very, very helpful to change my thinking and feeling. Nowadays, you see, now the Chandakirti's, you see, a few verses, I always remember that, and thinking something independent self, almost zero. That's very important, very important. If you have some translator, then Kairangi Senyi then you know Telakuru Ngubujikvishir. Tuni Ngubujik you know Tenjing with Tishingami. Kanshin Ngubudida Namjan, Tini Dajangol, Tsuru, Nani May, Tishiji, Tanyajana, Nabar Semisha. Tini goes to Kanshi, Tadajan, Yawarim, Shitanya, Kiyawanga Ivo. Ngobudo was Sunya, so Solotana, Madabayam. She said in the Sunya, so only Shevate and Nabatuda. Tishingo Tamja, Dona, $20 to Yawan euros. Another was the verses. Tedalo to say in our session, Rangalano, never Guru Russian, Sisum did a Molu, then a game of Todd Tanya Tempeto in Gogondo. Tatum Gogoto, someday image, draw Gumebala, Ninja and Giversi. Take on the Shisuja Sanjan Jinjani, Moluvan Aloy publisher Angins. And then conclusion, 군소더니 쇼양 가고 개교 강배교 되니교 가고 dundudan에 개월론 그 숙도기 개회연대 자수 파로 초동 roles. I always recite these words and thinking, so hoping, doing, the understanding the ultimate reality and the relative because of the reality, the essence of relative reality is altruism. The reality of absolute is emptiness, shunyata. These two wings together, you can fly, reach Buddhahood. So, I'm thinking more also the confidence. I can reach a certain level through practice of these two things. Like that. So when think more, then these teaching really become something reality, something living, very useful. Okay.
Wow, thank you so much, Your Holiness. So we are coming to our last two questions. I would like to call for Yuve Romelo, 17 years old from SMA Negeri 2, Jakarta.
Tashi Delek, Your Holiness, it is a happiness to see you. And my question is, how do we deal with the people who are different from our expectation? Thank you.
One Buddha's teaching says we have Buddha nature. Our body, not important, but important is our mind. The mind, they are on different level. So the more subtle level of mind is very similar Buddha nature. So now thinking this line, no matter what difficulties, ultimately everyone have Buddha nature. So there is always possibility to achieve Buddhahood. So thinking these, just prayer, thinking, study, thinking, then you get also the full self-confidence, and believe, Buddha nature, wonderful. Buddha nature is as a foundation to become Buddha, like that. Okay.
Thank you. And so the last question, Your Holiness, will be coming from me. Now, we live in the great era of information, but it is also an era of distraction, and it can create more anxiety. Now, we've seen you in your 80-year-old of age, still very fresh and sharp. So can you please share some simple and healthy practice that we can all do to be less distracted and to keep a fresh and sharp mind?
Sarve.
No, orang tiwad.
Kosa.
Orang tiwad. Di orang tu tadi namanya mayu che tu tadi jauh lebih jenis sih kecil katu ini tu trong di dang anjing kaza tu novu dang anjing sewu tadi noya ke tapi anjing nyamlen sih dang anjing tak dewu sih trong.
Usually, we mainly as eye consciousness, ear consciousness, these consciousness of organs become more dominant. Now we should not sort of become something like slave of these senses of organs, but rather sixth mind, main mind, close eye, or whether close or not sort of follow our main mind, the eye consciousness, ear consciousness, so on, like that. So without the thinking, without following, the senses of organs, the main mind. And there, all senses of organs close. Then your mind mainly remain on sixth mind, main consciousness. And then when you gain more experience, you see, deeper sort of meditation remain on sixth mind. Then these sense of organs, almost complete neutralize the sixth mind. Then from there, firstly, shamatha. Then stable sixth mind. Then use intellectual, investigating. As I mentioned earlier, where is I? Where is all these negative emotion? Then, you see, you can really get inner strength, inner peace. And then the daytime thinking this line, eventually during sleep, you see, in dream time, sometimes you gain some experience. So day and night, you always utilize your sixth mind, main consciousness. Then thinking main consciousness regularly and remain there more time, the sixth mind itself, then more subtler. You see, there is, according to some teaching books, mentioned 80 different, minor mind. 37 sort of group and 40 group, then 7 group. Now rishing to sosum, chebe rishing to shibju, nyetabu rishing to dun.
So there are three categories of conceptions, as we call them, which arise from and which are related with the different emotions, such as attachment. There are 33 of these conceptions related with attachment, and then 40 related with anger, and then 3 more related with ignorance.
So, eventually, you gain some experience about, you see, sixth mind itself becoming more subtler. Then finally, clear light. That clear light is this real sort of we call Buddha nature. You see, that sixth, the most subtle level of that consciousness, then eventually become Buddha's mind. So we are thinking this line. Okay.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Your Holiness. So as the last note, do you have any final message for our Indonesian youth so they can serve better for humanity?
Now, Indonesian Buddhist, I think you have some special opportunity. A big Muslim country. Firstly, you see, you can share about warm-heartedness. And these things, the Muslim brothers, sisters also, you see, need these practice. So, sharing these sort of deeper knowledge and commenting, compassion, forgiveness, these things, then you can develop more Muslim brothers, sisters, you see, get some sort of, ideas, how to develop harmonious society, compassionate society. So your Muslim brothers, sisters, you see, essentially, as I mentioned earlier, all carry same message or same practice. It is karuna, compassion. So, firstly, you yourself thinking more, and then share with more Muslim brothers, sisters, through that way, promotion of religious harmony, mutual respect, mutual learning. So you can make certain sort of contribution regarding religious harmony. Thank you.
Yes. So with that last message, we are coming to the end of our talk. So let me wrap up this wonderful session with a quote from His Holiness. There are only 2 days in the year that nothing can be done. One is called yesterday, and the other is called tomorrow. Today is the right day to love, believe, do, and mostly live. So I hope today we all take away the needed wisdom, spirit, and courage to live wisely and kindly, be kind to others, and as importantly, be kind to ourselves. So Your Holiness, on behalf of everyone, I'd like to thank you again for making the time to be with us today. May this pandemic be over soon so we can see you again directly in India or hopefully in Indonesia. May Your Holiness and all the spiritual masters be blessed with long and healthy lives so you can continue guiding us and all the sentient beings with your teachings. So to express...
Okay.
Yes?
I want, at the end, let us meditate on karuna, compassion. Just 1 minute. Like that. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Wow, this is very special. Thank you so much, Your Holiness. And to express our gratitude and to close this event in an auspicious note, the student representatives, the chanting master, myself, and my family. This is my husband, Reza, and this is my daughter, Atisha. We would all like to offer a kata to His Holiness.
Thank you. 청주스님사디 시우지 다시보르샤 장신ten 저루치 청주스님 교사디 베르샤 장도 중에 청주스님공 샹도 중에 청주스님공 딕집 중에 청주스님공 초사야 딕집 초사야 청주스님공을 야말 봐 시우지샤디 최고 인도면 남부 인도면 계속 야말 봐다 시우지 오래
So His Holiness is making a comment about bodhicitta, this altruistic intention for the benefit of others, which is incredibly beneficial. And in terms of even if you want to be happy yourself, you need to have it. And if you want to help others, you need to have this compassion. And in order to purify your negativities and also to accumulate or accrue positive energies for the sake of yourself and others. You need this. So this altruistic intention to benefit others is incredible for our own and others' sake.
산지점된데 기름 별로 다양 초주 나셔도 제 영야가 싸워로디 점된데 코랑 당부 전주서도 투기 되네 투기버디 누버치르 동야리야 바르도에니 선언도 이식 소사네 다른 거 보고 산지야디 이 싸워로디 답배신 집에 전주였으면 대가란 것이 와르다.
So in the Jataka tales, you read about the incredible acts and deeds that the Buddha, when he was a bodhisattva, actually engaged in. All these the altruistic deeds that the Buddha performed when he was a bodhisattva came from this intention to benefit all other sentient beings, which is called bodhicitta. And so with that intention, with that aspiration to reach Buddhahood, he actually generated and cultivated bodhicitta, and then, accordingly, he engaged in the different actions or practices that could lead one to that final goal of Buddhahood. And so, in this way, the Buddha went through the different stages of spiritual development and finally became enlightened based on this altruism.
안데 진주 나리야 닥대 생기 동에다 양다저 맞잖아 산제이도 민주주 코나야 대화 메스도 와 랑진진 짱짱 삼다 현진 성면은 산제고 토하다 파샤네 스부 코어를 내버리니 동에모도 대화 민도고 닥대 생기 동에다 양다저 맞잖아 산제이도 민주주 코나야 대화 메 대외 경에 근세에 전주심께 따셔네 대내 대화를 줘하다 섬시 수식
And then Master Shantideva in his Bodhisattvacharya Avatara says, unless you're able to switch your own joy and happiness with the suffering of others, there's no way you can become a Buddha. Even in this cycle of existence, you will not have happiness. And this is indeed very true. Because if you remain selfish, there's no way you can actually fulfill your own goals fully, and let alone serving others. And therefore, altruism or bodhicitta is that root which brings happiness for yourself and others. And therefore, Shantideva goes on to say that, thus, which intelligent or sensible person would not wish to ride the horse of bodhicitta, which leads one from a blissful state to blissful state?
Yeah. And the Tony seems to understand. She said, Nangan never done draw, she said, negative. This is done and negative. Draw don't get sour shot. They seem sure.
And so when you become determined to serve others, whatever the situation may be, then you will also come to make this kind of aspiration as it is made by Shantideva in Bodhisattvacharya Avatara. As long as space remains, as long as sentient beings remain, may I too remain to dispel the miseries of the world.
Okay. This is Mangari Peji, Lama Silingban Peji, Giverda.
So these messages that you have heard now have actually come through, from Master Selingpa Dharmakirti, who was an Indonesian master.
George Siling Changapene.
So George Adisha Devankara Srijana actually went from India to Indonesia to receive teachings from Master Dharmakirti, whom we Tibetans call Lama Serlingpa, the master from the Suvarna Dvipa.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Okay. Well, Your Holiness, you have shared so much. We're very, very honored to have this wonderful message and the short meditation that we have shared. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.